What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Weapon Collective. I appreciate you tuning in because today's video is gonna be a cool one. I'm excited about it. Before we get into that, I want to take just a quick second and thank everybody that has liked, commented, shared, and most importantly, subscribed. And in fact, today's video was the result of somebody commenting on the Shadow Systems video that I put up recently. They hit me up and were asking about Shadow Systems, how I thought they stacked up against agencies, and then they asked if I had any Zevs. And the answer to that was, of course, yes, which gave me the idea to make a video of my Zev collection, which I'm going to share with you guys today. Getting ready for the video, I started going around to safes and pulling out a Zev here and there, and ended up that I have way more Zevs than I realized. So there's a good amount of guns in here, some really cool guns, and then there's some that are gonna be repeats. There are guns that were in prior videos that just have a Zev slide, and I thought I might as well include those in the video. And without further ado, let's check out my Zev collection. Okay, so the first couple guns are the ones that I was talking about being in prior videos. And the first of those is going to be the SIG P365 XL with the Zev slide and the Zev barrel. They do a really cool dimpled barrel. And other than that, there's not a whole lot going on with this gun. It does have a Holosun 507K. I think we all are familiar with the P365 XL. Has 3.7 inch barrel and is a great little gun. As far as Zev goes, that's it. So this is the P365 XL with the Zev slide and barrel. And the next one is a similar situation to the first, being that it has been in a prior video and is a SIG P365. But this one does have the ZevTech slide, but does have an NDZ barrel. Not a whole lot of Zev stuff going on with this, but I figured I'd put it in and go through it. So let's do that. It has a Holosun 507K, does have the titanium nitrided NDZ barrel and NDZ trigger, ZevTech slide, and then has Surefire XSF weapon light. And then my favorite part of this gun is the grip module. And I picked this up from a place called Rocket City Stippling, and he had these ready to go, which was convenient. It is done in this M81 Woodland Cerakote, and it's stippled in that really nice texture. So this is the P365 with the Zev slide. Now this next one hasn't been in a video yet, and it is the Z320X Compact Octane. And this came from Zev like this. I got this from Zev. This was one of their kind of special releases. Very cool Cerakote. It's kind of that multi-cam black with a little more green than normal, but I've got a Trijicon RMR, and that is all I've really done to it. And it does have this cool Zev slide on here and the Zev barrel, which is dimpled. This is the Z320X Compact Octane. Next up, we're getting into just a little build that I did here at home, and it is on a Glock 17 frame and has this OZ9 slide on it. Also has a ZevTech barrel, that dimpled barrel, and cool little gun. This Glock frame is nice. It is stippled, has a really nice undercut in it, and in a color that you don't see all that often. Nothing huge to talk about with this. It's a full size, so like a Glock 17. I mean, it's a Glock 17 frame, so it is a 4.49 inch barrel from Zev, and I've got a Trijicon RMR and a Surefire X300 Turbo. This is the Glock 17 frame with the Zev OZ9 slide. I probably should have mentioned this in the intro. If you aren't familiar with Zev Technologies, Zev Tech or Zev, whatever you want to call them, they were a company that started out making aftermarket parts for Glock, triggers, and all the internals, and kind of morphed into a company that makes complete firearms. And they are very cool modular platform that they've come out with. And it is their OZ9 is their platform. And this one is the Zev OZ9 Combat, which is the full-size gun equivalent to like a Glock 17. And let me show you what is so cool about these. So similar to SIG's P365 and their P320, what Zev has done is made a modular serialized part, which is this drop-in part here. So that much of it you can take out, and then you can swap grip modules with slides and kind of configure the gun how you want. I'm all for modularity. It's versatile. I think it is the way to be going, and more people should be doing it, and I think they will. But Zev is nailing it with this OZ9 platform. So like I said, this is the full size. This is the Zev OZ9 Combat, and I was actually on their site recently. I noticed that the combat version is no longer available in black. It's only in their multi-FDE, which is very nice, but I love the black. Can't go wrong with black. The triggers in these are just fantastic triggers for a polymer striker fired handgun. Very, very good trigger. I've got a Trijicon RMR and a Surefire X300 Turbo. And then this one has Zev Magwell on it, as well as this one being outfitted with a SLR Rifleworks magazine extension. This is the Zev OZ9 Combat. And then moving on from that full-size OZ9 Combat, we're going to get to an OZ9 Elite with the threaded barrel. This is that OZ9 Elite. Really cool slide cuts. I like that. You can see the dimpled barrel peeking through. Up front, this is a CGS Mod 9 SK. Just if you got a threaded barrel, you're making a video, you got to put a suppressor on there. That's my view anyway. And I've got a Trijicon SRO and a Surefire X300 Turbo. And then this one has a JagerWorks magazine extension. And this would be their Glock 19 equivalent. So this is the compact OZ9. Very nice little gun. This is the OZ9 Elite. And another OZ9 Elite is going to be this guy here. No slide cuts, different color barrel. And up front, I've got an OSS who is now Huxworks. This is the Rad 9. This is a good can. I like this thing. You can see it's a similar, 4.02 inch barrel in their compact version. But essentially, if I wanted to swap this grip module out, I could take that Combat and drop this serialized part into that and then have essentially a Glock 45 or a Glock 19X with the compact slide and full-size frame. That is what is so cool about the modularity of the OZ9. It is just, I think, the way that things are going to be going in the future. So this is the OZ9 Elite with the threaded barrel. Next up is another build that I did with the Zev slide. And this one is on the Glock 19 frame. Turned out nice. I do like that bronze barrel peeking through those slide cuts out front. Once again, compact version. And this one, I've got a Silencer Co. Omega 9K that I'm trying to match the RMR that's on here. This Trijicon RMR and a Surefire X300 Turbo. JagerWorks mag extension. This one also has a good undercut. It's got a Zev trigger in it and a big improvement from a stock Glock trigger. Feels great. This is the OZ9 slide on the Glock 19 frame. And we're gonna move into a really cool gun. This one is the P226Z. So Zev takes a Sig Sauer P226 hammer-fired pistol and Zevs it out, does their slide work on it. hammer fired. I was talking about those striker fired pistols, but then you get to this and I mean, you're getting better. And I really dig this gun. Very cool. I've got a rugged obsidian out front because this also has a threaded barrel. Surefire X300 Turbo. And then this one, I did put this SIG Romeo 2 optic on it. And since we're talking about modularity, this optic is also modular. You can, right now I have it set up in the enclosed emitter configuration, but I believe there's 3 separate configurations that you can do and change it from fully enclosed to partially to open. And I'm just all about modularity. The more options and more versatility you have, the better. So I did get this optic. I don't run a lot of SIG red dots, but I had to give this one a shot. And not half bad, but it may be the modularity outshines the actual performance of the dot. Who knows? I would prefer an acro if I'm going for a fully enclosed emitter. And I have a hard time thinking, when am I going to change the configuration? Sure, there's the time, but maybe a little more marketing than it is practical. But that's just me. I'm sure there's people out there that absolutely love this. This is the Zev P226Z. Okay, at this point, we're getting into my favorite pistols that I have from Zev. These things are sweet, and we're going to be starting that with the Zev OZ9 Elite Hypercomp. And this thing is a compact pistol, so 4.02 inch barrel. And what is special about it is that it does have these ports, and you can see that they are machined, and that is nested right into the slide there. If you can see that little step that is integrated into the slide. They did a great job with that. I love ported handguns. Ported and compensated handguns are my favorite. And they just did a very good job with this. Very slick. I've got a Trijicon SRO and a Surefire X300 Turbo. And then that Jaegerworks mag extension. Bronze barrel. The contrast of that is very slick. And one thing I really like about Zev, besides their modularity and just their overall quality, is their marketing and just all the little places that they are putting their logo. You can see it right here on the other side of the mag release, up here on top of the slide, on the barrel. They do a really good job with marketing incorporated into their design. So this is the Zev Elite Hypercomp. Okay, so we're talking about comped and ported pistols. This one is awesome. So this is a special edition that Zev made. They only made 250 of them. I was very lucky to get number 53. If the name Obi-Wan Nairobi means anything to you, then you may know what I'm about to pull out. And this is the Zev OZ9 Craighead. So Christian Craighead is the guy they designed this gun for, or with, I should say. This is his gun. They did a lot of little nuanced things on this gun. You can see it says Craighead right here. It has Christian's logo with the 2 C's right here. And on this side, this is also his little pirate logo guy. Also over here, you can see that this is the number 53 of the 250 that they did. This is set up like a Roland Special with a very similar compensator. The colorway, the slide cuts in this are just so cool. I've got a Trijicon RMR in Coyote Bronze, a Surefire X300 Turbo to match this colorway that they designed the gun in, and this is a Zev Magwell and the Zev magazine extension. I think they did a fantastic job, and if you don't know who Christian Craighead is, go look into it and what he did in Nairobi. The dude is a badass, and I am very stoked to have his very cool gun from Zev, and this is the Zev OZ9 Craighead. Now this is not only the last of the handguns, but my favorite as well. And I'm going to start by showing you this really awesome box that it comes in. And if you know that, you'll recognize that is the Zev logo and the Warm Fuzzy logo. This thing is the Zev OZ9 Warm Fuzzy. Comes in this really cool laser cut foam hard case, which is awesome. This is such a cool gun. This is the OZ9 Warm Fuzzy. You can see that's engraved in the slide right there. Got some really cool lines going on the slide. It is a hyper comp, so that same ported, nested, machined, ported barrel. It's got that Warm Fuzzy logo engraved in the slide as well. And the attention to detail on this thing is very cool. But what makes it so unique is that it is this aluminum grip that it comes with. And I tell you, you'll have to take my word for it, but it feels phenomenal in hand. And the weight just balanced and really great to shoot. And what they did is this aluminum grip is machined from one solid piece of aluminum. They do this really nice knurling on the front and back straps, and then this honeycomb pattern on the side panels. It is just a phenomenal trigger. Once again, I have a Trijicon SRO and a Surefire X300 Turbo, and these are Zev's Magwell and Zev's magazine extensions. This is a very fun gun to shoot. The porting works phenomenally well, and the colors and everything about this gun I love. It just speaks to me. This is the Warm Fuzzy collaboration with Zev OZ9. So that is all of my Zev handguns, but fortunately Zev makes AR pistols and AR rifles as well, so we're going to take a look at those, starting with this Zev Core Elite pistol. And this is a AR pistol with a 10.5-inch barrel. It's in this all black with that bronze barrel peeking through, which I love. I think that is such a good touch. Great design. And then it does have that little gold trigger in there, ATC trigger to match. I dig it. This thing is a fun little pistol, and I will take you through it. It is clear, and starting at the tip, we've got a Dead Air Sierra 5 suppressor on here. And this I did mount using Dead Air's Xeno mount. I've been using their Chemo for a long time and really like it. But the Xeno, I have it on a couple guns that I put the Xeno muzzle device, and I'm really digging it. Because similar to Huxworks, one of the good things about it is that it is left-hand threads. So as you shoot, in theory, it should tighten that suppressor on. I know it works with my Huxworks. I don't have enough time on the Xeno to say that. I haven't actually tested it, but it is a very cool mount, and I'm digging it. Behind that, I've got Surefire Scout Light, and operating that with the SR07 pressure pad from Surefire, Emissary Development cable clip, and then this guy here, this is a Black River Manufacturing hand stop. I originally ordered this for my Beretta 1301 tactical shotgun, and it made its way over here where I believe it's going to stay because I am digging it. As you see, this is Zev's FL, which means forged lower, so their Core Elite rifle and pistols are made on their forged lowers, which they're great, just kind of mil spec. And I've got EOTech XPS2 on this ScalarWorks Leap Riser, And this thing is a 0.69 inch riser. I put a bunch of stuff on this rifle, but the only thing I changed that came with it stock was it did have a Zev charging handle, but it was sticking, and I swapped it out with this Seekins Precision charging handle, and it runs just beautifully. Moving back from that, we got a SB Tactical SBA3 pistol brace, of course, and this Magpul grip came stock on the gun. This is the Zev Core Elite 10.5 inch pistol. From there, this next gun is also an AR pistol, and just a little note before I reveal it. This thing is a pistol build that I did, and it is based on that same Zev Forged Lower. I built everything around that, but at this time I was going through a big Cerakote phase, getting all sorts of different parts Cerakoted in different colors, and then assembling different guns, and I ended up doing a bunch of different ARs. And this one I call the Crayola pistol because you'll see. But I just threw a whole bunch of different color combos together, and it's a little, this is the Colonel Mustard is what I should call it. It's got that mustardy color theme going through it with blues and blacks, and it's interesting. I enjoy it. Maybe not for everybody, but it's definitely unique. You're not going to be at the range and the guy next to you having the same gun, that's for sure. But let's go through this thing and see how I set it up. Out front, I've got the Q Trash Panda, which is going to be on the Q Cherry Bomb muzzle device. This is a 12.5 inch Roscoe barrel. It's a carbine length gas system, and I'm running a Lantac gas block on that. This rail, this is an SLR Rifle Works rail. This model is their Solo, and this is an 11.7 inch rail. And moving on from there, I've got Scalar Works fixed peak iron sights. These are my favorite fixed sights. Their peak flip-ups are my favorite flip-ups. Scalar Works, I love them. But these fixed sights from them are awesome. They look so good. And then I've got a Mod Light PLH V2 18350 that I'm activating with the Surefire SR07 pressure pad, and cable is running through a Emissary Development cable clip, of course. And this is also an SLR Rifle Works hand stop. This is their Mod 2 Barricade. This may be the only gun that I have one of these on, but I need to get some more of these. And then on this side, this is a Forward Controls QD socket. And one thing about Zevs, they all have this kind of cross-hatched texture right here on the lower receiver, or at least on their forged. In SLR Rifle Works bolt carrier group, I've got an aim point Comp M5 on a Scalar Works leap mount, and this one is 1.42 inches in optic height. And then this is a Lantac upper receiver. And what else do we got? I've got a Radian Raptor charging handle, Radian Talon safety selector. This is a Lantac trigger. This is a Forward Controls ambi mag release, which is nice. Lantac takedown pins. They're my favorite takedown pins. A Strike Industries dust cover. Moving backwards, I believe that is it, with the exception of the B5 pistol grip. So this is the Zev Crayola gun. It's a fun one, shoots well, fun build, soft shooting. I like this gun a lot. Zev Forged Lower with a 12.5 inch barrel. So moving on from that crazy thing, we're going into dark mode with this one, and this is the first Zev AR that I owned, and it is the Zev Core Elite rifle with a 16 inch barrel. This gun I love. Something about this gun that I have an emotional connection to. I don't know what it is, but it is legit. I love this thing. And I think it's just the combination of all these parts together just hits me the right way. I'm not quite sure, but let's see how I have it set up. And once again, these are built on that Zev forge lower. Up front, I've got the Surefire SOCOM 556 mini suppressor, and that's on a Surefire closed-tine war comp is what it's mounted to. The same bronze barrel peeking through that Zev handguard, which I just love the look of that. And these are good barrels. They're fluted as well. Forgot to mention that. And then I've got a Surefire Scout Light. Moving back, you thought I was going to say SR07 pressure pad, didn't you? Actually, this one has the ST07 tape switch from Surefire, and that is mounted in this Cloud Defensive LCS mount. And then moving back, that cable is, of course, in the Emissary Development cable clip. And this is the Rail Scales Anchor. I'm digging this angled vertical foregrip. It is very nice. Aesthetically and functionally, I dig it. Okay, now one of my favorite things on this rifle is going to be this LPVO that I have on here. This is a Leupold VR Freedom. It's a 1.5-4, so not even that powerful, but it is such an awesome little LPVO. It just kicks ass. I don't know what it is about this thing. It's super clear. The eye relief is awesome. It is illuminated, and I dig this thing. But unfortunately, they've discontinued it. Otherwise, I would pick a few more up because I really, really like this LPVO. And then another real cool thing on here that I have several of these because I just dig them. And I don't see these very often. This is going to be this Valhalla Tactical 45-degree offset mount. This is Valhalla Tactical's ruck, and it is fully adjustable, so it has a pivot point on a hinge that you can rotate it to wherever you want. It is a brilliant design. It's called the Ruck. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's spelled R-U-K-H. Valhalla Tactical Ruck is a perfect little 45-degree mount. I'm surprised I don't see these all over. I see the Arisakas, the Badger Ordnance, and the Scalar Works Kick. Those are what I see the most of. These are very cool. And moving back from there, I've got a Geisley supercharging handle on there in that FDE. Got a Magpul bad lever, Radian Talon safety selectors. This is ATC trigger. One thing you'll notice about me, or I'll tell you, is I love different color buffer tubes for some reason. I don't know why. This is a Magpul SLK buttstock and the Magpul pistol grip that came with it. But this is the 16-inch Zev Core Elite rifle. And lastly, we're going to finish it out with another build that I did. I just bought these parts and assembled it. And this one is another 16-inch gun from Zev. The difference is that this one, it's marked Zev BL for billet lower. So this is their billet receivers. And you can see that it just has different machining in it. Totally different look as it is billet. And I had it coated in this M81 Woodland with all the flat dark earth accents. This gun is super cool too. Let's go through how I set it up. Out front, I got the Energetic Armament Vox K, and that's a nice little can. It is on a chemo mount, and then underneath there is a Forward Controls chemo flash hider. I've got a Surefire Scout Light on an Arisaka offset scout mount, activating that with the, of course, SR07 pressure pad, and then a BCM CAG hand stop. I also did the Landtac takedown pins in this one, and then on their billet lowers, instead of that crosshatch knurling, they have Zev's logo, if you can see that, the two stripes. It has this flared magwell on the billet lower, which is definitely a nice touch. Then this lower, their billet is actually somewhat ambi. It does have bolt release on this side and does have a mag release on this side. And up top, I've got an EOTech XPS3 and a G33 3X magnifier in the ScalarWorks Leap 12 mount. And this thing's cool. I've showed it in another video on a different gun. Behind that, I've got Radian Raptor charging handle in FDE. This is a Strike Industries enhanced castle nut and end plate. I've got the Geisley Super Dynamic Combat flat trigger. That's one of my favorites. Oh, these are Battle Arms Development safety selectors. And then B5 furniture in flat dark earth. This was a fun build, fun gun to shoot. The 16-inch guns I don't run as much as I run my shorter guns. My 12.5 and under are what I use the most. But back in the day, I built a lot of 16-inch guns, and this one is one of my favorites. I love M81 Woodland. I think this thing looks cool. This is the Zev home build on their billet receiver set. Okay, that was my entire Zev collection, all my handguns, all my ARs. Zev is doing some really cool stuff. If you're not that familiar with them, go check them out. I love it. Before I end this video, I did want to say that I've got some very cool stuff in the works right now, so stay tuned over the next few weeks. One of these projects is going to be kind of a big one and may take a series of videos to get through, but other than that, please like, comment, share, and most importantly, hit that subscribe button. I'm Jeff for the Weapon Collective, reminding you to keep your weapons collected and keep collecting your weapons. I'll catch you next time.